I'm a big fan of the human race. I think that we are very resilient and we figure out how to move forward. Nonprofit organizations, more than ever, are needed. This is the place where a lot of social good and help and the safety net and everything else, it's where it's really happening. We've moved really far forward very rapidly in places like retail and banking and all these other businesses, but nonprofits haven't kept up. It's an enormous opportunity with technology for nonprofits to transform the way they do their work. And my optimistic side says that this crisis is the accelerator for that. Through adversity comes greatness, and I think that we'll come out the other end much more capable of solving our problems. Nobody's got the answer. We have to do it collectively, so it's hard to go through it for sure, but nothing's easy that's worthwhile.
The thing that's really struck me about your story is that you are at this interesting point of just diving off, even before COVID, into this strategic revolutionary plan.
Right.
I would say that we don't often see organizations that are standing on that precipice.
Right.
But then on top of that, you kind of had somebody come up behind you and push you off.
Push me all the way in there.
Right.
Make a decision.
How much change do you see in your strategic plan? It felt pretty comfortably baked, and we're ready to go forward
Right.
in certain ways.
Yeah, I think with any strategic plan, I always say that it's not the plan itself that the final result, it's this process, this ramp that you take to get there, the questions and the interviews and the engaging your staff. And I think pre-COVID, staff were lukewarm on technology, lukewarm on virtual work. Even thinking about program innovation, they weren't thinking about technology and systems. Now, they know. I'm not going to have that standoff with staff right now about how to innovate. They know what we have to do. And so that has been easier, like bringing them along because of COVID is going to be much easier in how we innovate, think about our financial health, engage our donors. And to some extent, Chris, how we've engaged our donors has always been remote in a way. That was very advanced, using the Salesforce system to engage our donors. That has always been sort of cutting edge technology, but not in how we engage and do case management and do referrals. That's been very analog in my view.
And so when I read your strategic plan, I was struck by the different kind of poles that represent the things that need to change and how they all do interact. That is a very hard thing to manage people. You mentioned how there was resistance to technology in your staff. I found that change management in these kinds of contexts is one of the hardest things that you can do. It's easy to be systemized, it's easy to draw diagrams.
Right.
It's another thing to align your most passionate workers align their mission with the use and the belief in the technology.
Right.
This is all about leadership.
I knew 3 months in I needed to have a chief technology officer. The organization has never had that position. It was more of a director of IT. And right during COVID, we hired our first chief technology officer because I knew that technology was a through line through all those core focus areas, and we had to get into the times. And so that was pre-COVID. So now we have sort of a map to do that, and to how to innovate using technology and look at different systems to do that. The one thing we want to make sure that our systems are talking to each other, because at the end of the day, we want to measure that impact too. And so that was a big part of hiring someone that can help us, figure out our impact, tell our story. And I just think the strategic plan is sort of this roadmap, a living document, not going to go on a shelf, that's going to help us on a day-to-day and how we work and function as an organization, meeting the needs. There are a lot of through lines, but technology and excellence and systems is part of that through line. So.
And we talk a lot about leadership and the importance of it. There's this idea that technology is not a strategic thing in an organization, it's an operational thing.
Right.
But this idea of actually technology is a part of the mission. It's a strategic driver within the mission. I feel like by hiring a CTO, And having that CTO report to you, you're sending a signal to the organization that this is a strategic driver within our organization.
And it's important. Everything that we've shaped around our strategic plan, everything that the organization has done is with the child at the center. So they can, at the end of the day, thrive, right? Thrive in their environments, become contributors to this great city. And so I think technology can even help with that. You know, my granddaughter's 5. She's with an iPad. I'm like, oh my God, pre-COVID, I was like, no, you know? But think about it, she's doing her ABC, she doesn't have that classroom experience anymore. And so technology, even with the younger children, is being used in a very innovative way, and they're engaged and they're happy.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get tired of it and they put everything down when past COVID, right?
I don't think so. And so tell me more about Children's Council. Why is that impact so important? How do you talk about that impact?
And I would say in the early 90s, I walked into the Children's Council when they were on 2nd Street downtown. I had 3 kids at the time, 3 boys. And I was at the end of my rope. I'm like, I need to work. And I just found myself in this cycle that I knew was poverty, and I didn't know how to get out. And so I walked in, I asked the woman, I said, I need help, I need childcare. I need childcare close to home. I needed Children's Council, and so many young moms and families need Children's Council just to get over that hump. And now I contribute to Children's Council in many ways, my life, my work, as well as financially, because I know what it did for me. And so many people should have that experience and know that we're there for them as well.
You mentioned earlier about, like, we're not getting out of this recession without helping people who need to get back to work.
Right. There's an opportunity for us to face the challenges we're dealing with today so tomorrow can be better. 40% of African American kids go to school already. So what happens to the 60%, for example? Or immigrant families coming here. Their kids they don't have the opportunity. So if that can change, that'll make San Francisco a better place. I think the investment that San Francisco makes in children is far better than any other state that I know of, right? Office of Early Care and Education, Department of Children, Youth and Family, these are entities that have money specifically for children in our city. But there's something happening where the change and the impact is not quite there when you see in the data. So we need to do a little bit more work to reach the communities and the kids that really need it. We got a lot to do to make sure that happens.